Coming up on Michigan's original high school sports show.
Spring is here and we are all about it. Several top 20 matchups in baseball, rivalries renewed in softball and soccer. We've got some great matchups in lacrosse.
This state champs locomotive is leaving the station. Sound the whistle.
Hi guys, and welcome back to State Champs, Michigan's high school sports show. I'm Jenna Rose. We're presented by Lawrence Technological University, where the time is now to recruit yourself. Join Oakland County's only NAIA school by choosing from over 24 varsity sports. Recruit yourself at ltuathletics.com.
Hey, I'm Lorne Plant, and in between the overabundance of great highlights, we've got even more great content. Donnie Dreher is back with more details on our total softball player of the year race, in which voting is live right now. You'll also meet a baseball coach who moonlights for state champs. It's true. And if you've had a knee injury, this week's DMC Game Changers will help you get back in the game.
All the highlights taking place in the great outdoors as we begin our March to June. Let's get to it.
Start the league today. Amen. Great opportunity to get out in front, okay, and start setting the pace. All right, you guys know what you're capable of. It's the fourth game. So some of the mistakes that we made in the first three, we've got to start to pick up. We've got to start to fix those, and we got to keep getting better every game.
I'm Ryan Slocum. First game in the Downriver League. Trenton went on the road to take on the Titans from Southgate Anderson. Trenton is 8th in the Division II preseason rankings, and they get going in the opening inning with a pair on. The senior Austin Stevens does the job with the sac fly to right. Fellow senior Al Shahowski comes hustling in. He puts the Trojans up 1-0. Next batter, Micah Ottenbright drops it into left for the stand-up double. Matt Cheatham scores easily, putting Trenton up a pair after the first half inning. Ottenbright was on the bump for the Trojans. He's committed to Michigan State and also had MLB scouts watching him throw at this one, and he would impress, striking out a pair of Titans in the bottom of the first. The Trenton bats were still alive in the second. Jason Marshall takes the offering deep and to the wall in right center. He makes it all the way to third for the stand-up triple. Next batter, Brock Boudry. The junior smacks a single for one of his 2 RBIs on the day as Marshall trots home. Trenton now up a 3 spot. And they were threatening again in the third, now up 4 with a pair on, but Boudry's line shot is snagged by Anderson first baseman Zach Meekins. That would end the threat. Southgate had a runner on third in the bottom of the fourth, but the future Spartan Ottenbright gets Ethan Gringus to go down swinging. Ottenbright allowed 1 hit and struck out 9 in his 4 frames of work. Trenton adding to its lead in the 5th. Nick Mader gets the job done with the fielder's choice. That scores Luke Miklos to put Trenton up by 5. The sophomore Alex Stepaniak came in to pitch the final 3 innings for the Trojans, and he would strike out 6 as Trenton starts downriver play with a 7-1 win over Southgate Anderson.
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we were out at Grosse Pointe North for a great matchup between a pair of top 15 ranked teams in the state. The Norsemen coming in at 3-0, taking on the also undefeated 6-0 Detroit Edison Pioneers. Edison trying to start things up early. Bases loaded in the first, but Will Flom able to get Joshua Smith to chase the high cheese to leave him full. Bottom half of the inning and bases full of Norsemen. Gregory Pace on the hill. He gets Parker O'Neill to roll over it, fielded at second after a bobble by Edward Gregory, gets it to first in time to escape the inning. Bottom of the order coming through in the second for GPN. Sack bunt moves Danny Vogler over to second. Luis Randazzo first pitch swinging, drives it to right, just off Caleb Sanders' glove. That's going to bring in Vogler. Norsemen out in front, 1-0. James McCauley would walk, putting runners on first and second for Luke Deskins. Deskins with a rope to right field, gets past Sanders. Randazzo scores from second, and a great relay for a bang-bang play at the dish to cut down McCauley trying to score from first. Deskins would score from third on a pass ball, and it was 3-0 after 2. Next half inning, runners on second and third. Sanders at the dish, and good things happen when you make contact. Just sticks the bat out there, slaps it down the right field line. That scores both runners with one down. Sanders standing on second, up comes Justin Smith. First pitch swinging, gives it a ride to center field. That ball is gone for a 2-run shot, and it was a 4-3 lead for the Pioneers. Top four, Edison has bases loaded, 1 out, 1 run already in. New pitcher Michael Zontini facing Sanders. This ball tucked inside the bag at third, down the line. Give him 2 more ribbies on the day. Pioneers increase their lead 7-3. Bottom half of the inning and Norseman clawing back. Bases walked loaded with 1 down. Chris Marshall at bat, grounded to shortstop, flipped to second, bounces the throw to first, not able to pick it. It bounces away. That brings in 2 runs, cutting the lead to 7-5. Each team would add a run in the 5th. Grosse Pointe North adds another in the 6th. It was 8-7 heading to the 7th. 1 down and bases loaded for Brandon Ford. But a heads-up play as Keith Smith steals home. Everybody else moves up 90. 2 down, runners on second and third, and Sanders delivers again. Line drive shot over shortstop's head, brings home Gregory and Boyd. That upped the lead to 11-7. They would take care of business in the bottom half of the inning, going 1, 2, 3, and win this one over Grosse Pointe North. 11-7, the final score.
I'm Ryan Slocum at Grand Blanc, where the Bobcats hosted Davison in a Saginaw Valley League tilt. Notre Dame commit David Lally was on the mound for GB, and he impressed from the get-go. Throwing that 96-mile-per-hour gas, he struck out 4 batters in the first 2 innings. The sidearmer, Mitchell Vamos, on the mound for the Cards. And how about the reaction time? Snagging the Kyle Keener chopper. Incredible play to end the 2nd inning. Zeros still on the board in the 4th. Davison has the bases loaded, but Lally gets Nolan Hoffman going down looking. Lally had 8 Ks with 1 hit in 5 innings work. Grand Blanc led it 1-0 in the 4th when Nate Helms gets the dude in pads on notice. He hits this one to the football field. A solo jack. Grand Blanc up 2-0. Davison was threatening with 2 on in the 5th, but nice pick at second by Nate Fadelnio, and he lets him know on the way out. And then Lally helps his own cause. The chopper goes off the bag, allowing another run to score. Grand Blanc beats Davison 5-0. They would go on to sweep the interconference set from their conference foe.
Time now for In the Dugout, presented by the Michigan High School Baseball Coaches Association.
Hey, take a collective breath right now. Take a collective breath, everybody, right now. I'm serious, take a breath. Get your blood oxygen moving to your brains right now, okay? Listen, we had gone over in season situational hitting. We have runners at first, we have runners at first and second, correct? Yes. We got to start getting into that mental approach, okay?
For nearly 2 decades, Adam Wooley has been the head man of the Madison Heights Lamphere baseball team. It was an easy decision. He's got Rams blood coursing through his veins. His parents are graduates. He's an alum, as is his wife. Following a successful career in TV and radio, when the opportunity presented itself to get back to Lamphere, it was a no-brainer.
I had a career previous to this in marketing and public relations and also in radio and TV, believe it or not. And I had the opportunity to start teaching, and it was just one thing led to another. All the stars aligned, and my coach stepped down in high school. He was the coach here before me, Frank Persicino, and the job opened up, and it was like just a natural fit, and I was blessed to be able to do it. And I was telling the coach today, I said, it's just amazing. Sometimes I'll drive home and I'm like, how did this all fall into place? How did this happen? And because I love it so much.
After all, this is home.
I understand a kid from Madison Heights. I know what it takes to come from a blue-collar town and to not necessarily have every single advantage. And that's the kind of players that we turn out here. They're gritty guys who are going to get dirty. They're going to give you everything that they have. And our record has, I'm not talking wins or losses. I'm talking about the way we compete. Kind of shows that we have in us that we want to play along with the bigger schools like a Bloomfield and L'Anse Cruz and be there and not only compete but to go out there and give them everything we have.
As the TV radio teacher at Lamphere, Adam soon jumped on the podcasting train. He wanted to find a way to support baseball in Michigan.
Podcasting is something that I got into basically when it was in its infancy. As far as listening, I was a big fan. And I thought, we need some vehicle that's going to be able to explain a little bit more of our platform and maybe even direct coaches into something that we are trying to share with them. And so instead of it being just a newsletter, which people nowadays will just pick up, throw away, and go on, I thought, what better way than a podcast? We can produce it here locally at the school. We have all kinds of equipment, and it just was kind of a natural thing. And through clinics and just relationships, was able to get in touch with a lot of college coaches and then obviously high school coaches and just made it happen.
And it's all about sharing his love for the game.
We want to grow this game and make it something so that our kids get recognized and know, because there's a ton of talent here in the state of Michigan. And we talk about gritty players. Those are the kind of kids that have to go onto that Division I level and be gritty, but they can turn into some great players like you're seeing DJ LeMahieu do and Jacob Cronenworth. These kids are making their mark now in the MLB, and it's a testament to the kind of program that they came from and the state that they play baseball in.
The Michigan High School Baseball Coaches Association is an amazing organization, like minds, really like a family.
It's a great fraternity. It's a fraternity that we learn from one another. We associate with one another. We're on a text thread constantly. So a lot of the trials we go through together, a lot of the celebrations we go through together. And I do believe that we've got a group of guys that are working in the best interest of not only growing the game of baseball, but also making it just something that the state of Michigan can be proud of, because it was a lesser thought. It was something of an afterthought. Basketball and football had reigned supreme, and what we want to do is just put it on the map, keep it on the map, and make it something that is equivalent to those sports.
Our partnership with the MHSAA is to help bring awareness and grow the great game of Michigan high school baseball. So we recruited Adam and his good friend Rob Mendyka to start up the State Champs Extra Innings podcast.
Rob Mendyka was a former student of mine at Lamphere High School. I teach TV productions, and he was always huge into sports. In fact, he was part of a show that we did on there, and he's always been a great host. He has a podcast of his own. So it was exciting for me to have the opportunity provided by State Champs to bring him into the fold, get a different voice in there, allow me to more or less expand on my coaching chops versus question and answer type stuff, and become part of the forum instead of just as a host. So I'm real excited to be there to help provide that support for Rob. I'm glad that he's there, and we've got Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Matt Petrie under our belt with Brock Porter. We had Scott Evans, Dan Griesbaum, and Matt Fournier on the last show, and next week we're going to get Juan Sanchez from Detroit Western. So we're touching every part of the state. We want to get up to the west, get up north. We want to show everybody what baseball in Michigan's all about.
You can listen to the Extra Innings podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or simply go to Spreaker.com and search State Champs Network. I'm Lorne Plant for State Champs.
We head to Stevenson High School for a Division I girls soccer matchup between Utica Ford and the Colts of Troy. Both teams coming in with no losses early in the season. We pick things up toward the end of the first half. Falcons moving the ball down the field. Madison Betties passes it in front for Emma Lau, but Troy keeper Kate Helfin makes the nice save. Final minute of the first half now. Utica Ford working the ball around the net. Betties fires the shot, but a diving save from Helfin. They were scoreless after the first. The Falcons would strike first on a goal from Betties, but the Colts come right back just 30 seconds later. Charlotte Sabatka passes to a streaking Lizzie Boltnick. She splits the goalie and defender and sends it home. That would tie the game at 1. Falcons looking to move back in front. Liz Schneider sends it all the way up to Betties, looking to score her second of the day. but it's another nice save from Troy's Kate Helfin. They were still tied late in the second half. Samantha Johns gets the ball off the corner kick. She shoots, but misses wide left. Last chance for Troy. Falcons looking to clear the ball. Anna Miller has it, rips a shot from deep, but Ford goalie Sara Smith is there for yet another save. And that would do it, as this game ends in a 1-1 tie.
Dylan Morello here as we head to Grosse Pointe Farms for the girls lacrosse match between the Blue Devils of Grosse Pointe South and the Mustangs of Northville. Northville getting off to a hot start here as the Mustangs' Mina McCory gains possession of the first draw, sprints right down the field, and passes it to an open Emily Strange for the first goal of the night. Mustangs passing the ball around in the offensive zone. Katie Combs gives it to Charlotte Green, who blows it by the goaltender. Northville with an early 2-0 lead. Northville continuing their offensive prowess here as Sophia Teresi passes it to Elizabeth Chernak behind the net. Chernak sprints in front of the net, splits two South defenders, and gets the goal. Mustangs up 5-0 midway through the first half. A few minutes later, still in the first half, Northville spacing out the defenders, on to McCory behind the net. McCory throws it to a wide-open Kylie McHugh. She buries it. Mustangs would take a 9-2 lead going into the break. To the second half we go, Mustangs looking to maintain their big lead. Mustangs McCory with the ball behind the net, gives it to Katie Combs, crashing to the net for the goal, and it would be more from Katie Combs in the second. Mustangs in the offensive zone. Charlotte Green gives it to Combs for her second goal of the half. Northville up 11-2. Blue Devils trying to fight back till the final whistle. Anna Mead scoops up the loose ball off the free position shot, weaves through the Mustangs defenders, and gets the goal. But it would be too much Mustangs on the night as Northville would go on to beat the Blue Devils with the final score 11-4.
State Champs Michigan's High School Sports Show is brought to you in part by Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine.
Hi, I'm Laura Ramus, and today on Game Changers, we're going to be talking about the keys to returning to sport after having knee surgery. Returning to sport after having knee surgery requires a team approach. It requires you, your parents, your surgeon, physical therapist, athletic trainer, and even coach. You have to start out with a game plan, something written down based on the guidelines from your surgeon. Number one, what's the time frame for your return? Don't be in a rush to get back into your sport. There are statistics that show women who have had ACL injuries have a 45% re-injury rate if they don't follow the rehabilitation guidelines. So, when you're going back to sport, your number one goal should be to have optimal performance and stay safe. Number two, make sure that your knee is quiet. What do I mean by a quiet knee? That you don't have any pain, swelling, and that your motion or your range of motion is full. A simple test to check your range of motion at the knee is the butt kick. Stand, knees together, and kick your heels up towards your butt. Closely look to make sure both heels raise up the same amount. If they do, you're ready to start running. If not, work more on the motion at the knee. Next, test your strength. Make sure that it's equal on both sides. You can do this with simple hop tests. Lay down a measuring stick, hop as far as you can forward. Measure that distance. Then hop as far as you can backwards. Measure and write down that distance. Next, go sideways. How far can you hop to the side? Measure and record that distance. And finally, stand and rotate. How far can you hop and twist and stick the landing? Do the exact same jumps on the other foot and compare. They should be equal before you return to your sport. The fourth test involves balance. We're utilizing the Y balance test. You can use a tape measure if you don't have an apparatus like this. Stand on the left leg to begin with and slowly reach forward with your toe as far as you can go. You have to keep contact with the board and then bring himself back out of that balanced position. We'll record that measurement. Now we'll do the same thing going backwards. Keep in contact with the board, reach, balance and focus, hold, and then record that amount. The final is a cross behind. Balance, looking forward, reach, hold contact with the board, come out of the balanced position. Each of these would be recorded and then compared to his other side. Again, they need to be equal before you return to sport. If you have an injury, let the experts at DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine get you back into your sport or active lifestyle.
Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Then go where the pros go. DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. For immediate care, call 313-910-9328 or visit dmc.org/gamechangers.
I'm Greg Molson in Clarkston for the softball season opener for the Clarkston Wolves and the Bobcats of Grand Blanc. The Bobcats get on the board first. In the first, Kendall Klochak with the drive to the gap in left center. That brings Rebecca Oding all the way around from first to score. Klochak then takes over on the mound and she helps herself, snagging the line shot right back at her. The Cats add to their lead in the second. Carson Kuhlman steps up and singles to right to bring in 2 runs.
Nice, Emma!
Then it's Oding with a line drive to left to bring in Kuhlman. Grand Blanc batting around in the inning. They scored 7 runs in the second with Caitlin DeWitt driving in another one. They led it 8-0. And that was more than enough for Kendall Klochak. Double K was piling up the Ks. She had 10 in 5 innings. And the Bobcats hitters added 3 more runs in the 5th. Rebecca Oding bringing in 2 more to make it 12-0. Klochak then ends it early with a 5-inning mercy. The senior, who's committed to Purdue, pitching a season-opening no-hitter as Grand Blanc blanks Clarkston.
Definitely. That was a strong team showing. We really wanted to come out, strong hitting, strong fielding, strong pitching, strong catching all around. And I think we definitely accomplished that goal today.
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we're at Anchor Bay, where a pair of rivals met on the diamond. The Tars coming in at 3-0, taking on Dakota. The Cougars, 2 wins, no losses. We pick things up in the bottom of the second. Tars got a run around second with 2 down, and Jessica Orlando at the dish. She gets a hold of one and rips it to right center. That's off the glove of the center fielder and brings around Genevieve Decker to score. Anchor Bay out to an early 1-0 lead. Next half inning, Allison Vogt on the hill for the Tars, and she was rolling. Gets Madison Nooner to strike out. May Franzoni pops out to third base. And then a great pick by Riley Caraway at third makes the throw across the diamond to retire the side. Bottom 3 and Anchor Bay starting to add on. Runners on first and second with 1 down. Decker squares around and the fake bunt run works to perfection. Kayla Bain slides into third. Throw gets by the third baseman and she comes home to score, bumping the lead up to 2. Taylor Wolf advanced to third, and Decker squares around again. This time she puts it down, and the squeeze is on. The throw at the plate is just late. Wolf scores, and it was a 3-0 lead for Anchor Bay after 3 innings of play. Jumping to the 6th inning, pitcher Megan Nectarline reaches first on a fielder's choice. Courtesy runner Caitlin Thomas comes in for her. Nicole Syracuse was hit by pitch, putting 2 on and only 1 down. Both runners advance on a wild pitch, and Megan Bryant up to bat. She rips one in the gap to left center, bringing in both runners and cutting the lead to only 1 run. Nectarline would handle business in the bottom half of the inning, stranding 2 runners before getting a big strikeout to head into the 7th with a chance to take the lead. But Vogt wasn't having any of that. striking out the first 2 batters, and then Angela Petrovic grounds it to first to end the game. Anchor Bay remains undefeated as they take out conference rival Dakota by a final score 3-2.
Hey guys, welcome back inside the State Champ Sports Network studio. It is time for an update in our Total Softball Player of the Year race. Donnie Dreher back in the house, and we talked up a couple of players last week. Our initial top 10 is out, and what I want to let you know is the voting has begun. So what you'll do is go to statechampsnetwork.com. The great thing about our contest is that the leading vote getter, so the one who has the most passionate fans out there voting for him, they can never be removed from the race. Now, we do have to say also, since we didn't even have softball as a high school sport last year, it's going to be a fluid list. We know there's people out there already who have been hitting us up in the social media universe that they demand to have this player on the list. And you know what? That's okay. We love that. We love the engagement. We want you to be involved, and we want to know about these players. So. Sure. That's the bottom line. And really, don't you encourage that? I mean, we want to hear from, because people are out there, the ones who are, feet in the dirt, as it were, right? Are checking out these players and saying, you really got to take notice to what this person is doing.
Yeah, we need everybody's help. We don't want anyone to go unnoticed. If there's a kid that's put up the numbers, we want to make sure that she gets the attention she deserves.
So let's talk about the race as it currently stands. Our top 10 candidates are in. Who are a couple players we want to get into this week?
Well, this week I want to talk about a couple pitchers, and I'll start with a senior from Grand Blanc, Kendall Klokock, who is committed to Purdue University. Kendall is a power left-handed pitcher, and she throws in the low to mid-60s. She's got great movement on her curveball, and for a left-hander, that is so important, and I'm sure that's why the coaches at Purdue, both Boo and Dorian, like her. So a left-hander, she can take that curveball, she can run it in on the right-hander's hands, she can do what we call backdoor, start it off the plate and break on the plate, and then also to the left-handers. She can have that ball run away from them, and a pitch that I love, that I was starting to see more lefties use, is what we call a freeze pitch. You start it out in the river and let it break over the front of the plate.
So explain what in the river is.
In the river is that, basically that's 6 inches between the batter's box and home plate. And that's a controversial issue because typically when a batter gets hit, if their body is in the river, it should be just a ball and not a free base. So the river is a word that you're starting to hear more and more. But again, if you imagine a lefty throwing to a lefty, starting the ball in that area and letting it break off on the inside pitch, and we call it a freeze pitch. The kid just looks at it and heads back to the dugout. But Kendall's not only a great pitcher, she's a left-handed hitter as well, and she hits with power, so she's definitely going to be able to help her team with the bat. In fact, not only is she hitting very well, but she just pitched a no-hitter against Clarkston. I think it was a 5-inning, 11 strikeout, no-hitter. So the stats are already starting to roll in.
All right, who else are we looking at?
We're looking at a sophomore, Megan Nectarline, that is from Dakota. Megan, built similarly to Kendall. She's about 5'8", 5'9". She is a kid that combines power, meaning velocity, with movement. So she again throws in the low 60s, similar to Kendall. She has a great drop curve. She has a nice rise ball and above average changeup. So not only is she showing velocity, she's changing speeds, but she also has movement. And Megan is also a big time hitter. So when we look at this contest, we look at kids that are similar to maybe a Lauren Essman that can do it with the bat, but can also do it pitching. And Megan can do both of them very well. Now she's only a sophomore. Right now, coaches cannot talk to her. But what college coaches can say is, yes, we're very interested. No, we're not interested before her September 1st when D1 coaches can talk to her. And they're interested.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's the beauty about the Total Softball Player of the Year race. It doesn't matter what grade you're in our competition. You could be a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. They're all available. We are looking for the best players in the state here in 2021. So just know that it's not necessarily going to be a senior that's going to win this award.
I might add that we have freshmen on our watch list.
Okay, so there you go. And oftentimes in softball, we'll see freshmen step up that blow the competition away. And they just happen to do it for 4 years. So you could win this award for 4 years. It could happen. So we shall see how things play out. The other thing I want to let you know is, again, players are going to drop out. players are going to move in. The watch list is always going to be changing. The important thing to know is that if a player does drop out, that player absolutely has the opportunity to play their way back in. So it might be musical chairs for a while, especially maybe over the course of the next 3-4 weeks as stats develop, as news comes in, and as players get their game on. So just understand that, but the important thing to do is if you have a favorite, you need to vote, because that's the only way that you can guarantee your person stays in the contest if that player is leading the vote count. Go to statechampsnetwork.com. And the other thing I do want to say is the State Champs Swing Away podcast is now 2 episodes in. So what you do is a real easy way to do it is search State Champs Network on Spreaker.com. That has got all of the shows that we do. We do 3 here in the spring. We've done several dozen, since the beginning of the school year. And that's the best way to listen. But again, if Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast, you can listen to State Champs Swing Away. And Brian Chittister and Donnie Dreher get into a lot more players along with our host Jenna Skelski than what we talk about here. So just know that.
And this week we really covered the recruiting process, so it's a nice piece.
State Champs Michigan's high school sports show is brought to you in part by the Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA. Time now to take a look at the football program at Lawrence Technological University.
As we all continue to battle the pandemic, we are pleased to say that we were able to get in 2 games this spring season. From this point forward, we are shifting our focus towards the fall of 21, which we're extremely excited about with the current retention of our student athletes here at Lawrence Tech and the incoming class, recruiting class, which was a very stellar class for us. We have just completed our schedule for the fall. We will play an 11-game schedule with a bye week in the middle of our season. We're bringing on 2 new non-conference opponents, that being Kentucky Christian University and then also Bluefield State College, which we'll play in the front half of our schedule. We are very excited about what the future has for Lawrence Tech football, and we hope that you guys continue to ride the wave with us. In reference to our recruiting class for the year of 2021, including our mid-year enrollees and our incoming fall high school freshmen, we will have a class that exceeds 50. It's a great class. We're bringing in multiple high school state champions, a few college transfers as well to build experience and depth to our roster. It's a talent-rich class that we're extremely excited about, and we definitely look forward to their future as they become Blue Devils.
If you are interested in playing football at Lawrence Technological University, recruit yourself by going to the football page at ltuathletics.com.
Dylan Morello here once again as we head to Birmingham for the boys lacrosse match between the undefeated Birmingham United and the Lake Orion Dragons. Birmingham United gets their offense going early in the first as the Dragons' pass here is picked off by Owen Van Hayes, and he passes it to an open Johnny Cross for the first goal of the evening. Birmingham up 1-0. Here comes the Dragons with 3 minutes to go in the first, game tied at 1. Brady Jury picks up the missed shot and gives it to Cade Manzo. He spins around the defender, shoots and scores. Dragons up 2-1. Early in the second now, game tied at 2. Dragons cross. Papadelis patiently setting up the offense, turns back out, finds enough space, and fires it for the goal. Lake Orion up 3-2. Dragons would have a 4-2 lead going into the second half, but Birmingham was getting hot in the third, passing it around in the offensive zone. Van Hayes to Johnny Cross, and Cross finds the back of the net to tie the game up at 4. Cross with 3 goals on the night. A few minutes later in the third, Van Hayes giving everyone assists as he passes it up to Brendan Lamb. Lamb fires it by the goaltender to put Birmingham up 5-4. We go to the fourth, Birmingham up by 1. Papadelis looking to create some space, runs around the Birmingham defenders once again, and fires it in to tie the game at 5. But back come Birmingham a minute later. Brendan Lamb patiently setting up the offense, shakes the defender, and finds the back of the net for his second goal on the night to give Birmingham the go-ahead lead. Birmingham would then hold on to that fourth quarter lead with a final score of 7-5 over Lake Orion. Birmingham United remaining undefeated on the early season.
I'm Kevin Trzynski, and we go to Novi for a KLAA West Division matchup in girls soccer. The host Wildcats won their home opener 3-1 over Howell, but then dropped a close 1-0 game to rivals Northville. The visiting team, Salem Rocks, also getting a win in their first game of the season over Heartland. Let's hit that pitch for the action. 4 minutes into the first half, Salem putting pressure on Novi. Grace Musai puts a big right foot behind this one. Talia List trying to hit the back of the net, but Novi's Avery Kastanek clears the threat away. Game remains scoreless. Later on in the first, Salem setting up with the corner. Abby Siddle getting all the loft on the boot. Novi's keeper Abby Pfeiffer tries to punch it away, but it drops right on the doorstep, and Grace Wozniewicz getting her foot on the ball, ending the danger in close quarters. 2 minutes later, the Rocks would light up the board. Off the cross from Abby Siddle, she connects with Olivia Shuck as the ball takes a favorable bounce, and Shuck nets it home. Salem would lead 1-0 after the first stanza. Coming back from break, Novi would get an instant break just 6 minutes in. Samantha Madej with the nice through pass to Lindsay Dollinger, and she turns on the Jets. One-on-one with the goalie, and the freshman slips it past the Salem keeper as Novi ties it up at 1-1. Under 8 minutes left in the game, this would be the last great chance to break the tie in favor of the Rocks. Laura Casilli gets behind the defenders, and here we go. Abby Pfeiffer stepping up big, making the stop with her hands. Salem tries again, but it's off target. Novi and Salem would end this game in a 1-1 tie.
State Champs, Michigan's high school sports show is brought to you in part by the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female High School Athlete of the Year Awards, taking place June 7th.
Boys lacrosse, Forest Hills Central Rangers and the Forest Hills Eastern Hawks. This is a rematch from the 2019 state final where FHC won. And we begin a couple minutes into the first quarter. FHC is already off and running, leading 4-0. Nathan Sargent playing catch up top, lobs it to Magnus Salmon. He winds back and rips it in for his first of 3 on the night. Scores 5-0 FHC after the first. Second quarter action now, 5-1 the score. The Hawks were trying to dig themselves out of a hole here. Ethan Johns with a burst of speed, taking the outside of the defender for the snipe. The Hawks only down by 3 now. Forest Hills Eastern would get another on the board, but it's John Tomczyk looking to put a halt to that for the Rangers. He walks in from the outside, protects the ball with a spinorama to record his third tally of the day. Rangers up 6-3. Score now 7-3 for FHC as they continue to extend the lead. The Hawks, however, looking to bridge the gap with time winding down before halftime. Ball is able to work its way around and find Kevin Sprague for a blistering goal with only 0.5 seconds on the clock. Score now 7-4 at the half. Moving right along through the third, game slowly slipping away. It's 10-4 now, FHC, and they will add to the lead again as Miles Duvin passes it over to Colin Ward, who makes no mistake collecting his third goal of the game. Continuing right where they left off, it's Tom Sheck for the Rangers, finding his teammate Rowan Clay all alone in front. He pulls out his bag of tricks with a sickening over-the-head goal, making it 12-4 FHC. The Hawks would add one more, but the Rangers would add the dagger here as Clay scoops up the loose ball and snaps home his 5th of the game, as that will do it here as the Forest Hills Central Rangers explode on offense by the score of 17-5.
I'm Kevin Trzynski, and we head to Plymouth High School for a Division I baseball game between the number 16 Plymouth Wildcats and the number 4 Canton Chiefs. We pick things up top of the 4th. Canton down 1-0 with a runner on second. Marco Johnson hits a liner into center, and that brings Nate Herberholtz home from second to tie the game at 1. The Wildcats would answer right back in the bottom of the inning with 2 on. Devin Beauchamp hits a line shot into the gap, and that would bring in 2 runs for Plymouth as they would take the lead once again at 3-1. Bottom of the 5th now, and the Wildcats threatening. Tanner Youngglass gets the base hit to drop along the foul line and left. Ryan Campbell comes around third to score. Plymouth up 4-2. And the Wildcats kept the pedal to the metal in the 6th. Campbell hits it right up the gut. Kane Elmy rounds third and tags home plate. Next at bat, Youngglass would smack the double out to right center. Campbell would come in to score, making it 8-2 Wildcats headed into the last inning. Canton wasn't backing down. Ethan Kraft hits a grounder up the middle, and Nick Chaika comes home from third. Chiefs get 2 more runs and now trailed 8-5. But the Wildcats would shut down the 2-out rally. Ken Fissler hits it to short for the force at second, and that would do it for the Wildcats as they go on to win over Canton with a final score 8-5. Plymouth gets their first win on the early season. We head to the Huron League rivalry game between New Boston Huron Chiefs and the Airport Jets. Pick things up in the second inning. Game tied at 1. Brendan Powell in the box. He hits a grounder up the middle, getting by the diving second baseman. And Frankie Marvaso goes on in to score, putting Huron up 2-1 after the second. Back comes Airport in the following inning with the bases loaded. Jason Heimbosch hits a fly out to right. Brody Weimer tags from third and scores standing up. And we were knotted up at 2 apiece. Bottom of the 5th for Huron, Ethan Webb up to the plate. He hits a hard grounder back to Heimbosch, and he knocks it down and fires it over to first for the out. But the runner from third scores. The Chiefs now up 4-2. And Huron was still hot in the 5th. Cole Grunwald gets a base hit into left. Chase Molnar goes on in to score, and that would make it 6-2 Huron after 5. The Chiefs would keep that momentum into the 6th with 2 runners on. Ricky Emilian helps out his calls with a shot over the right fielder's head for the double and 2 ribbies. Next at bat, Webb hits it out to left for the base hit. Emilian rounds third and will score standing up, making it 11-2 Huron as we head into the final inning. Shane Daniels hits a grounder to Molnar. He flips it to Grunwald for the last out. And Huron will go on to win over Airport Jets with the final score 11-2.
State Champs Michigan's High School Sports Show is brought to you in part by the Michigan High School Athletic Association.
The MHSAA is looking for 8 members of the class of 2023 to join the Student Advisory Council. Applications are being accepted through April 28th. The council provides feedback on issues impacting educational athletics from a student's perspective and is an invaluable part of what we do. The 8 new members will join 8 members from the class of 2022 to make up the 16-person council. Candidates should show a history of leadership on athletic teams, participation in other extracurricular activities, have at least a 3.0 grade point average, and have ideas on how to promote positive sportsmanship and proper perspective for educational athletics. This is a great opportunity to work with student athletes from all over the state. To apply and for more information, visit us at our website, mhsaa.com.
Just want to let you guys know that we have 3 great Michigan spring sports podcasts that air weekly all spring long on the network. State Champs Extra Inning is your high school baseball connection. Jenna hosts the State Champs Swing Away Softball podcast, which dives deep into recruiting and more. And State Champs Face Off is the lacrosse podcast, which, if it's not up already, is going to make its debut sometime this week, so keep on the lookout for that.
Now, I wasn't here last week, and I understand the show did not get its proper ending in which Lorne loses again in rock, paper, scissors. I can see why you didn't want to face that embarrassment again, Lorne, but I'm back and it's time to square up.
You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and hoping you get different results. Let's see, here we go. Rochambeau. Oh, snap. State Champs Michigan's High School Sports Show is presented by Lawrence Technological University. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA. The Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female High School Athlete of the Year Awards taking place June 7th. Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers. And the Michigan High School Baseball Coaches Association, a proud partner of State Champs. For all things high school baseball coaching in Michigan, visit MHSBCA.org.